Hello everyone, welcome to Science Express. Today our topic is X-linked disorder. In this lecture, we will be discuss about the X-linked disorder, hemophilia. Okay. Now start the lecture. Hemophilia is mostly inherited genetic disorder that impairs the body's ability to make blood clots, a process needed to stop bleeding. Okay. Hemophilia is a inherited genetic disorder, that means it passes from one generation to another generation. This results in people bleeding for a longer time after injury, easy bruising and an increased risk of bleeding inside joints or the brain. Okay. Or another name of hemophilia is called bleeding disorder. World Hemophilia Day observed every year on 17 April. Okay. This day is aimed to raise awareness about the bleeding disorder of patient suffering from this particular disease. Okay. Now, here we can differ the person affected with the hemophilia and a normal person. If a person affected with the hemophilia, so in which the ability of blood to clot is severely reduced, okay, so that even a minor injury can cause severe bleeding for the hemophilic patient, okay. But in case of the normal person, if there is an injury in the blood vessel, so after few minutes, near about the 3 to 8 minutes, blood stop flowing or blood clotting start, okay. But in case of the hemophilia patient, so there is a major loss of blood, okay, or clotting time is delay. Now, here we discuss causes of hemophilia. Hemophilia is caused by mutation or change in one of the genes, clear, that provide instruction for making the clotting factor protein needed to from a blood clot. So, protein factor which are mainly responsible for the blood clot are absent in case of the hemophilic patient. This mutation can prevent the clotting protein from functioning properly. These genes are located on the X chromosome, okay. In human body, near about 23 pairs of chromosome present. In 23 pairs, one pair is called sex chromosome, okay, and another 22 pair is called autosome, okay. Sex chromosome mainly two types. In case of the male body, X and Y represent, and female body, X and X represent, okay. So hemophilic gene are located on the X chromosome, clear. Now discuss about the types of hemophilia. There are several different types of hemophilia present. The following two are the most common. One is called hemophilia A, another is called hemophilia B. In case of hemophilia A is called classic hemophilia, okay. This type is caused by lack of clotting factor 8. Now hemophilia B, this type is caused by lacking of clotting factor 9. Another name of hemophilia B is called Christmas disease, okay. Clotting factor 8 also called anti-hemophilic factor. Now discuss sign and symptoms of hemophilia. First, the bleeding into joints, mainly knees, elbows and wrist. These can cause swelling and pain or tightness in the joints. Bleeding under the skin causing build-up of blood in the area, okay, so reddish in the area where blood loss. Bleeding of the mouth and gums, and bleeding that is hard to stop after losing tooth. Fourth point, bleeding after having shots such as vaccination, okay. So minor injury can cause severe bleeding in case of hemophilic patient. These are the major signs and symptoms of hemophilic patient. Now data related to case study. Hemophilia occur in about 1 of every 5,000 male birth, Okay, so mostly male person are affected by this disease. Hemophilia A is about 4 times as common as hemophilia B, and about half of those affected have the severe form. Hemophilia affect people from all racial and ethnic groups. Now discuss about the treatment of hemophilia. The best way to treat hemophilia is to replace the missing blood clotting factor so that blood can clot properly. This is done by infusing commercially prepared blood concentrates. Okay, so mainly input the major clotting factor which are responsible for the hemophilic disease. Now, often best choice for care is to visit comprehensive hemophilic treatment center. Okay, these are the major treatment of hemophilia. Clear? If a person hemophilic disorder, then they must be consult about the doctor or nurses for better treatment. Now discuss about the inheritance pattern of hemophilia. Most people who have hemophilia are born with it. It almost always inherited from a parent to child. Okay, both hemophilia A, hemophilia B are inherited in the same way because both the genes for factor 8 and factor 9 are located on the X chromosome. Okay, X and Y chromosome are determined whether a person's sex is male or female. The female have 2 X chromosome represent XX, and male have 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosome represent X and Y. Okay, so inheritance of pattern of hemophilia, it mainly inherited from the father to child or mother to child. Okay, now here we can see that in a chart pattern, inheritance pattern of hemophilia. First side we can see that unaffected father and carrier mother. So the offspring are unaffected son, carrier daughter, affected son and unaffected daughter. So chances of hemophilic offspring is 25%. Okay, and another side we can see that if father is affected and mother is unaffected, so offspring are unaffected son, carrier daughter, unaffected son and carrier daughter. So chances of hemophilic offspring is 0%. Okay, from this trend we can assume that the disease is the nature of the disease is recessive pattern. Okay, and it transferred to the X chromosome. So here we can say that it is a X-linked recessive disorder. Now there are no genes for clotting factor on the Y chromosome. This means that male only have one allele for factor 8 and one allele for factor 9. Thus, if a male has a hemophilia allele on his only X chromosome, he will have the disorder. Okay. Now, here we can represent male sex chromosome X and Y. If the hemophilic gene present on the X chromosome, so there is a no chance of suppressing this X chromosome, so male will be hemophilic. Clear? But in case of female, inherits 2 copy of the factor 8 or factor 9 gene, one from her father and one from her mother. So in case of the female, represent of sex chromosome is X and X. Okay, double X. So if one X chromosome carry the hemophilic gene, another X chromosome suppress this X chromosome, so female does not express the hemophilic character. Okay. Now, a female with hemophilia allele on one X chromosome usually has a normal allele on her other X chromosome that can provide normal clotting factor, so that she has some protection against having hemophilia. Okay, already discussed. One X chromosome carry the hemophilic gene, other X chromosome suppress the hemophilic gene. Now discuss about the hemophilic carrier. A daughter gets an X chromosome from her mother and an X chromosome from her father. Okay. Suppose the X chromosome get her mother has the gene for normal blood clotting, and suppose the X chromosome from her father has the gene for hemophilia. Okay, so represent here X and XH. Okay, this X chromosome is coming from the father and this X chromosome coming from the mother. Okay, now the daughter will not have hemophilia. Okay, since the normal blood clotting gene from her mother is dominant over the another X chromosome. Okay, this X chromosome which one get from the mother is suppressed the another X chromosome which get from the father. Okay, then the daughter is called carrier for hemophilia disease. Okay, so daughter is not suffering from this disease but it carry this gene. So that type of genetic combination X and XH, that type of combination is called carrier for hemophilia disease. Okay, a female can also have hemophilia if she inherits hemophilia allele from both her parents. Okay, so here we can see that for a female to be diseased, the condition should be like this: father diseased and mother should be carrier. Okay, now here we explain with a generation chart. Carrier mother we can represent X and XH, and disease father we can represent here XH and Y. Okay, so one X chromosome is affected with the hemophilic gene, and in case of the father one X chromosome which are affected with the hemophilic gene. Okay, so in case of the male body there is another X chromosome, so father is the disease and mother is carrier. Okay, so here we can see that one daughter is carrier, one daughter is affected from the hemophilia gene, and one son is, here we can see that one son is normal, and here we can see that one son is affected with the hemophilia. Okay, so total offspring affected with the hemophilia is 50% and 50% is normal. Clear? Thank you. Please do like, comment, share and subscribe Science Express.